Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I want you guys to get to know a little bit about me, but I also want me to be your motivation to go out and live your dreams. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit of a story about my life. And as a magician, I want to bring some magic into this story and bring it out there and let you guys experience a little bit of my life. So when I was young, I was all over the place. I never really cared if I was, I never battled with depression or anxiety or stuff like that as a young human because I experienced the world and I was excited about everything that lived in the world. I was able to go out there and just enjoy what I did. I was out and I enjoyed being with friends. I enjoyed being with family. I enjoyed, playing games. And I didn't grow up super wealthy or super, happy all the time. My family, for most of my life, lived in apartments and things like that. My family didn't buy our first house as adults until my parents, right before my parents got divorced. In fact, they didn't buy their first house until about a year or two before they went through a divorce. And a lot has happened in my life, but I lived in apartments a lot. And when I lived in apartments, one of the major things that I do remember is I went through a fire and I was very young. I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember this one thing. And the one thing I remember is a police officer gave me a teddy bear. In fact, I'll never forget that day because the police officer gave me something to calm me down and remind me that everything is going to be okay. Every once in a while you'll see I have this with me. I carry it because as a magician I want to remind myself that, sometimes there's only one card in our lives that we need to remember and need to hold near and dear to ourselves. That could be a memory, that could be, just a card that resembles something important to us, but this one happens to resemble a memory. And in fact, if we take, and I'm just going to put this away here, but if we take a deck of cards, we can remember that every single card resembles something, right? So for a deck of cards, there's 52 decks of cards, or 52 cards, and there's different things that resemble different cards. But I don't want you, if you were with me, I wouldn't want you to just, name a card and I'm going to try and find it, because I don't want that. I would want to find your card, your special memory. So I would have you select, if you were here, I would have you select a random card. And let's say that you select this card. It doesn't matter if I know what it is, it doesn't matter what it is, but you just would select that card and then I would have you sign that card. So let's just pretend like you're here and we have you sign this card. Now, in a deck of cards, like I said, I'm gonna now lose your card. And inside that deck is now your card. But I'm not going to find it just randomly by finding a card. I'm going to find it by finding the envelope. Because remember, I told you that in this envelope I keep a special card. And it just so happens that I always find the card that I need, because that card may be your special card, but my card is always my special card. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that. The deck actually ends up in, well, it's down here right now, but it ends up in my pocket usually. And I really enjoy that effect because I enjoy explaining to people that things happen like that. Another memory, so fast forward to later in my life, and my parents actually we lived in a rented house, and the house wasn't perfect. It never is a house always gonna be perfect, right? But the basement flooded when it rained, and things happened, and it just so happens that sometimes things happen that we didn't want to happen, but they did, and we just kind of cleaned it up and we lived our lives. Later on, we were still living at that house, and I really got developed into Boy Scouts. In fact, I became a counselor, a camp counselor, and I really enjoyed what I did. I really enjoyed bringing smiles and happiness to people's faces and to scouts. It's really one of the things that I absolutely really enjoy about my life is that I was a scout counselor for many years. In fact, I think it was like 2 or 3 summers that I became a counselor. And one of the things that happened to me was, I believe this was around 2013, maybe it might have been, maybe not the year, but I think I was about 13 or 14, I think is my age. It wouldn't have been 2013 because I was older. But I think it was about my age. Sorry, my age was about 13 or 14, and I was told by my parents no when I told them I wanted to come back from scout camp. In fact, I had told them that I wanted to come back from scout camp and I wanted to be home for the weekend because we had the opportunity when I was on staff there that we could be home for the weekends. So I decided that I was going to come home, whether my parents let me or not. So they weren't going to come and get me. So I said, okay, well, I'll find a ride. And although my parents told me not to and told me I shouldn't, I did it anyway. But one of the most impactful things in my life happened on that day. We were coming back from scout camp, and we were taking the highway, and I had fallen asleep because it was a very long drive. Not a long drive, but I was very, tired, and it was a long day. We got up early because we wanted to leave and go home and spend the entire weekend with our families. And last thing I remember is I woke up and I couldn't see out of my right eye. In fact, I couldn't see out of my right eye at all. I panicked. I was sitting on the bed of a pickup truck. I think it was a local passerby that had stopped. What I later found out is that the car had complications and had flipped. So we were going one direction on the highway, and we were headed towards home. And the car had actually flipped end over end and ended up facing the opposite direction on the highway towards camp where we were coming from. And my eye hit the airbag, and I lost vision in my right eye. In fact, I can no longer see dead on in my right eye for the rest of my life, and there is no cure. I can only see peripheral vision, and that's one of those things that it happens in life, and we live through them. If we look at life as a box, we want to understand that sometimes things happen, but I lived to tell that story. So I truly feel that maybe one of you listening, maybe somebody here needed that story because they understand the concept of what had happened, and they understand that sometimes they struggle, and they needed that story because that'll help them get through their life and their struggles. Life is full of chaotic and a mess, and if you were here, I would ask you for a number between 21 and 50 because I want to show you something. And say you picked the number 28. So we're going to go off of that number. And although right now this might look like a jumbled mess and just a bunch of numbers, because it is, it resembles something in our lives that we have to understand, and that is that sometimes our life looks like this. It looks like a pile of numbers. It looks like a mess. It looks chaotic. It looks like, what in the world? But it could be any number between those numbers that I've given you. And what's strange is this isn't a mess. This isn't a mixture of just numbers. In fact, if we take a look, 8 plus 11 plus 8 plus 1 is 28. And if you look, 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 7 plus 12 is 28. And then 3 plus 10 plus 9 plus 6, also 28. But you see 10 plus 5 plus 4 plus 9 is also 28. But it doesn't stop there. You see our life might be chaotic and a mess, but if you look this way, 8 plus 2 plus 9 plus 9 is also 28. And if we go this way, 1 plus 7 plus 10 is 28. And if we go the four corners, 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 10, also 28. In fact, if we do the four corners of 8 and 11, plus 7 plus 2 is also 28. Or 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 5 is also 28. Or 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 4 is also 28. Or 8 plus 1 plus 7 plus 12 is also 28. In fact, there's multiple different ways, because each and every which way, diagonally, crossway, up, down, 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 or any which way you look at it, it all equals 28. So, although our life might seem like a chaotic mess, it all equals out in the end. You see, because of this, it helps us to understand that even though when life is chaotic and a mess, we could still jumble it back together and understand that there is huge meaning behind the things that happen in our life. I still live to tell the story of the car accident for a reason. And I still live to tell the story about many other things for a reason. There's another story that goes along with a straitjacket escape, but I don't have the straitjacket with me today. But if you know me, you've seen my videos, you see that I have done a straitjacket escape, and I do have a routine that I made or that I use with comedy to it. And the reason I add comedy to it is because it lets us escape reality. And to talk a little bit more about the story, so recently at my current location of employment, I was in a box truck and I was driving and I blacked out. I don't know what happened, and all of a sudden traffic was coming towards me, and so I swerved out of the way to make sure that I didn't hit anybody and nobody hit me, because I didn't want to cause any damage to them, and I definitely didn't want any damage to me. But what happened was the truck tipped onto its side, and I felt in that moment trapped. I felt trapped because I was barricaded in a box truck that was on its side, and lucky for me, I was wearing a seatbelt, so I wasn't like hurt severely. In fact, I only have a few scrapes on my arm, and it ended up being about 10 stitches. Was it extremely scary? Absolutely. Was it horrifying at the time? Absolutely. But again, I live to tell that story because it needs to be told that sometimes in life things happen, but I climbed out of that truck. In fact, I felt trapped and alone for a minute, and then somebody came up to the window, because a truck has a front window, and they said, if you can get out, you should. And even though I had panicked and I didn't know where my phones were or anything like that, I looked up, I rolled down the window, and I climbed out. And I did that because it helped me to know that I am, not only am now safe and out, but it helped me to realize that sometimes some things are more important than the things that we think are important. So if we think about it, sometimes we're looking online and we're looking at technology and we think that those things are important to us. And in our reality, what's really more important than anything is the people around you. And we need to be mindful of that. I think it's hard for us sometimes to realize that the surroundings and the people around us are way more important than the things that we hold on to. Do I love the connection I have to social media, to my friends and my family, like you guys that are watching this? Absolutely. I love that connection that I have. But it's not always as important as my wife, my son, and the people that are right in front of me. In fact, if we don't live in the moment, sometimes moments pass and we don't realize how fast a moment can go by. For instance, look at my son. He is now 2 years old at the moment of me posting this and filming this. And just yesterday, he was in my arms as a young child, as a baby. And now he's almost to the point of running around my house and running around. And if I let those moments pass by, sometimes I forget that those moments are a thing. Not saying I forget that those moments are a thing, but we forget to live in the moment. And I want you guys to, watching this, to remember this, and remember that if we don't live in the moment, sometimes the moments pass so fast that we don't know what's going to happen next. And I want you guys to go out there and live your dreams and be happy with what you're doing. Because if you're not happy, you're not living your life to your fullest. I need to remind myself sometimes of this too. So it's nothing against anybody watching this, but remember that we need to live in the moment and recognize the small things in life. And remember that anything can happen. In fact, another effect I have that I would like to share with you guys is that this deck of cards, and if every single card were a different moment or a different recognition, sometimes we wouldn't even know what to do or where to go. But you see, I have this thing sometimes where I can remember some of these moments. And if you look at this, this is the 2 of clubs. The next card will be the King of Hearts. 4 of Hearts. 9 of Hearts. And I could go through this entire pack, but it's these little moments and these little card, that represent, each card represents a moment, like I had said earlier. And if we remember some of these moments and don't let these things pass, we can live on our dreams and help others live theirs. My goal in life is to make others smile, make others happy, but also motivate people to go out there and do what they want to do in life and make others smile and happy. The world needs more motivation. The world needs more happiness and more joy. And I truly feel that the world needs a lot of that kind of stuff. Because without happiness and joy, there is just sadness and darkness sometimes. And we all get those moments where we've lived our lives in darkness. But if you chose... I had a friend say this the other day, and I wanted to share it with you guys. In fact, I'm going to give him a shout out right now. Jay Nolan said this in a live on the Clapper app. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it to you in a little bit. But Jay Nolan said, if you could choose to be happy or to be sad, what would you choose? Now, if you could choose, every day of the week you'd choose to be happy, right? Why would anybody choose to be sad or miserable or depressed or lonely? You wouldn't. And I don't want people to go out and just sit there and be happy for a moment. Although that is great, because I'm glad that I get to do that for you. As a magician, I get to go out, I get to entertain, I get to make you happy for a moment, I get to make you happy, even if it's for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it may be. I get to make you happy, make you excited, make you forget about everything in the world for those moments, because it doesn't matter. When you're watching me or any entertainment, you don't think about those things for that period of time. A friend of mine said, and I'll never forget this, Marcus Black said, because you can. What does that mean? What does it mean to say, because you can? Because you can choose to be happy. Because you can live your dreams. Because you can go out there and make a difference. Now, am I a perfect person? No. I'm absolutely not perfect. In fact, to be 100% honest with you, at the moment of me posting this video, I'm not living my dreams yet. And the reason I'm not living my dreams yet is because I'm still working a daily job, that I would rather be out there performing magic and motivating others to be happy and successful. And I want you to be happy and successful. I truly do want you to be happy and successful. And that's why I want to urge you to push yourself to do what makes you happy. Never give up on your dreams. Never stop doing what you love, because if you give up on your dreams and stop doing what you love, it takes away from living your life. One of the biggest things in my life is I love to travel, and I want to see places, and I want to make people happy and smile at the same time, and I want to motivate others to do what they want to do in their life. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of my reels on this channel being magic, and it's because it's what I absolutely love. I love magic. I love making people smile. I love what I do. I really do. And so I truly want to urge you to be you, be yourself. Do not ever be a setting on the jar, because nobody likes somebody. That's just normal. And I hope this helped you guys understand a little bit about who I am, and helped you understand a little bit of me being out here and helping you guys get a little pieces of my story, because I hope to share these stories with the world. And before I go, I want you guys to know that you can find me on all social media platforms at the official _ MysterE, except for the Clapper app. You can find me as MysterE, because that's the only platform that I've been on that nobody's taken my name. But if you don't know what the Clapper app is, I did promise you earlier I would explain it to you a little bit. So the Clapper app is a newer platform. I have over 170,000 followers. It has monetization options and other options for you guys to be able to monetize your content and monetize things. And it is a great platform for community. I don't know really how to explain it too well, because there is so much I could tell you about the Clapper app, but I need you to go check it out for yourself. I'm going to leave 2 links at the bottom of this video in the comments, or underneath the description probably. One of them is a VIP link. I want you to check it out. That's my VIP link to go check out Clapper. And the other one is a link to Jay Nolan, XP Mentor, and his 2-hour training, I think it's 2 hours, of the XP Mentors Breakthrough Summit of the Clapper app. He goes through in a presentation style all the different things that you can do on the Clapper app to monetize. He explains some things to you guys, and he really helps to develop it and help you guys to understand. And as a special little treat, if you guys would like to stick around, I am going to add to the end of this video a performance of me doing live magic, so that you guys can understand where I come from as a magician, but also so you guys can see that truly I love what I do. I really want to live out my dreams, and I hope you guys can help me, and I hope you guys live out your dreams. I love each and every one of you, and remember to always be you, be yourself. Don't ever be a setting on the jar, because nobody likes somebody. That's just normal. Love you guys.
Because a crayon may be all it takes to finalize the perspective. Have you been hanging out with David Blaine? Probably. How's it going, everybody? Hey, Daryl. Hey, Annie. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello.
Clapper.
Coming from all the way across
My
the
trick.
seas. Oh my goodness.
Wait. That's my trick.
Wow, you really do have a good imagination.
How good?
I know you have a really good imagination. I mean, imagine that. So, what card did you pick?
4 of hearts.
The 4 of hearts. Okay, so if I just see, these are all facing one way here, and if I just go through here, see if I can find. There's one card and only one card facing the opposite way in this deck. Only one card, the 4 of hearts.
No way! Fuck off!
Just like that. Hope you like that.
I love it! Holy moo, do you want me to put myself down?
Yeah, thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, I can't. How do I turn it off? I can't find the button. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Right,
it's okay.
send me your pictures for the yearbook.
Clapper.